Hello, and welcome back to Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching. This is Erin. So, I just got back from watching a Bharatanatyam performance. And when I was in Kerala in December of last year, I got to see a single performer, which was pretty mind blowing. This time, I got to see 10, and it was transcendent. The way these students have sacrificed their bodies to express this beautiful classical dance to the point where their feet are starting to flatten out and they're only teenagers, but they just love it and their heart's in it. And it's just expressing such deep cultural roots from their country. It's so inspiring, and it has elements of yoga in it. It has elements of Kalarippayattu in it. It just has so many beautiful elements in it that express India in such full richness. My time in India has been transcendent. It has made me grow as a teacher. My students that have been with me, Amira and Carrie and Paula and Matt and Isaiah, and my martial arts teacher, Deepak, and the Ayurveda teacher, and my friend Molly, Dinesh, and just Ms. Asha, our pranayama teacher, Laura. It's been just amazing. And I'm so happy and excited that I already booked a shala for next year that doesn't just have air conditioning, which is kind of hard to come by in India, just so you know. But it also has a hot tub, which in the time that we're going to be here, it should be pretty cool in the evening. So nice way to rest your muscles and bones after a long day of yoga and philosophies and martial arts and dancing and chanting. So if you're interested in joining me next year, I have a waiting list that if everybody signs up, we will almost be sold out except for 3 spots. So reach out to me, Erin at erincoach.com, if you are interested in coming to India with me next year. I know that I was intimidated to go to India because everyone was saying, oh, you're going to get sick. No matter what you do, everyone gets sick when they go to India, and that's just it. I've been here 3 times. I have yet to be sick. And the reason is that I've had a private chef pretty much the whole time that I was here. I've been taking programs, and I have eaten out, but I'm just smart about it. I kind of know my way around now. I even know some of the language, and I know high quality teachers. So another reason why I was cautious is that you kind of don't know what you're signing up for, and it's always a risk, certainly in any country there's scammers, and India is no exception. That being said, they are a warm, rich, wonderful culture with amazing people with such skills and talents, and I found some of the best collection of teachers in India, and I pieced them together for my program. So if you're interested in coming to India next year with me as your guide and lead and doing lots of bonding and life coaching and body rolling and just appreciating and immersing yourself in the Indian arts, you can also do this as part of a yoga teacher training or just a yoga vacation. So again, reach out to me, Erin at erincoach.com. So I have been training Kalarippayattu with my teacher, and I was happy to learn that I have graduated to blue belt. Now, this podcast is titled A Brief Retelling of My Journey with Martial Arts. So I am a black belt in Shotokan Karate. I trained from age about 13, 14 to age 23, 24. And I went through all the ranks, got my black belt when I was leaving for college, and then I came back and trained a bit more. So I had about 8 years of uninterrupted study, and then 2 more when I would come back for a couple of months or on break between semesters, I would train. And, karate's awesome. It gave me a great foundation. It gave me one hell of a work ethic and a way to focus my mind and connect my mind and my body. Even though it was aggressive, even though I was quite the angry person, it still gave me a direction. And I think it was one of the differences between me and some of my friends that wound up getting into hardcore drugs and then wound up dying. I mean, I can count like past my two hands how many friends that I grew up with who have died from heroin overdoses or Oxycontin or some sort of synthetic drug, just trying to numb the pain that they had because they didn't have tools to be able to, process these things that were big inside of them. So I did that for so long. I was a very angry person that was channeled, maybe sometimes encouraged. And then I took a complete break from martial arts. And I had a pretty severe eating disorder. And when I was like quite a few years into my eating disorder, like over a decade, I found yoga and I fell in love. I've been practicing yoga for over 15 years and I've been teaching it for just about that time, maybe just slightly less. So martial arts kind of went on the back burner. I just felt so disconnected from it because when I would touch that space inside of me, there was still anger. There was still this unprocessed like darkness that I was unable to face, and I had a lot of shame around it. And I did some women's self-defense seminars with my partner. He's a double black belt in judo and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. If you haven't heard about him, Matt Judo Murphy. I think it's really interesting that us as a couple were both black belts. And so I knew that it was something that I would kind of come back around to, but I was super resistant to it until I found Kalarippayattu. Kalarippayattu is touted as the oldest form of martial arts. It's from India. It originated in Kerala, and where also Ayurveda was originated. And it combines Ayurveda, massage, weapons, martial arts like fight forms, katas, we would say in karate, as well as a couple of other elements like takedowns and things like that. It incorporates elements of yoga. So coming into it with a yoga background, I expedited my success in it. And it's just sort of like took my attention and heart and focus by storm. It's very interesting, the combination of drishti, which is like an eye-gazing point, the bandhas, which are energetic locks that we use in the style of yoga that I primarily teach and practice, which is Ashtanga, and the breath, which is Ujjayi breath, which is a psycho-spiritual breath that allows you to access deep spaces within you. It has a certain texture to it and a particular sound. If you've listened to my podcast at all, you've heard me give examples of it over and over and over again. But it sounds like a light snoring sound. And the experience that I've had with Kalarippayattu has not only awakened something in me, but it's helped me to integrate my shadow. And since I've done that, I went from feeling a bit broken from having a stalker, which was just an awful experience, never wish that on anyone, to reclaiming myself and stepping back into my power more than I ever have, to where I feel confident. I'm able to work through anxiety. I'm able to have uncomfortable conversations. My quality of friendships are so much more deep and meaningful than they ever were. And now this is in addition to coaching and, having a partner that is also interested in spiritual growth with me. But there is something to be said about these sacred arts of channeling your energy in a transcendent way and the effect that it has on your psyche and your spiritual growth. And so I am just smitten. I'm in love. I'm training with my guru in Mysore. He took a train for 14 hours to be a part of my training. And I would love to have him for next training because it's fun. One, because I've been practicing Malayalam, which is the second hardest language in the world. I don't know why I do this to myself, but it's my teacher. I want to communicate with him, so I'm interested. And he's been learning English. So between the two of us, we speak like Malinglish and we figure it out. So I'm hopeful that he will join us next year for my yoga teacher training and yoga vacation if you're interested. And, martial arts is really incredible. It helps to focus your mind. It helps you to work through blocks, and it is a sacred art. So if you've never tried it, highly recommend it. And yeah, I hope that it helps you to tap in your shadow. I hope that it helps you to transcend, or maybe just to go inward, of the self, through the self, to the self. That is yoga. And that is at the core of these sacred arts, is learning how to study yourself and for self-actualization. So that's a brief update. I am about to hop onto my group coaching call, which, by the way, we are opening up enrollment next week for July. So if you're interested in joining a very economical way to get coached by me and one other amazing coach, it's only $150 a month. We have a couple of spots, about 3 spots left. So if you're interested, reach out, Erin at erincoach.com. It's every Tuesday at 12:30. All right. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you so much for listening. If you want to support the podcast and if it's helping you, please consider writing a review. You can go to iTunes or Google Play, go into the search bar and type in Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching, scroll down, and you can leave a review. This helps other people to find me as well as bumps us up in the search ratings. Also, this podcast is sponsor-free, so that means we don't receive anything for doing it. If you feel so inclined and this podcast is helping to support you and you want to return the favor and help to support any production costs of the podcast, feel free to give a donation to a Venmo link, Thrive Yoga Fit, or PayPal, Erin at erincoach.com. If you don't have the means, don't worry about it. We're not going anywhere. You're all good. But if you would like to give back, you can give back in those ways. Last thing, we have a coaching certification coming up, and it's 7 days of an intensive work, followed by a 3-month mentorship. You will not find another teacher that's more passionate and dedicated than I am to my students and their learning, and not just their learning, but the application and how they show up in their life. If you've been listening to this podcast and it's had a huge impact on your life, just imagine what it would be like to spend 7 intensive days with me and then a 3-month mentorship. You can check that out at thriveyogafit.com/coach-certification. Again, thriveyogafit.com/coach-certification. Thank you so much. Namaste.